Roll it.
Oh, yeah. 2 pre-rolls today. Elevate every morning with Tommy John's Second Skin underwear. What you put in your pants can make or break your day. And the luxurious support of Second Skin guarantees everything will go smoothly. Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. Save 20% on Second Skin at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details. Your pet is one of a kind, and so is their journey. While every playful moment is a memory in the making, sometimes our cats and dogs are a little too good at getting into trouble. That's why you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. To explore coverage, visit ASPCAPetInsurance.com/JRVP. That's ASPCAPetInsurance.com/JRVP. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Excited for this one. We're going to talk about Anthony's LA show, an army of monkeys, and a defrauding pastor, all coming up as we head towards Milwaukee on episode 242 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
I'm not a monkey boy anymore. I'm a monkey man. Now kiss me. Kiss me, you fool. Kiss this monkey man. Aaron, what's that quote from?
Monkey Man?
It's from Monkey Man. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. It's not in the trailers, but if you see the movie Monkey Man, that's my favorite part of the movie, was that line. When he becomes the Monkey Man. Now kiss me, you fool, kiss this monkey man. And then they kiss. Great movie.
He makes out with the monkey?
No, he's the monkey man. When he grows, I won't spoil it, but when he hits puberty halfway through the film and becomes the monkey man, it is insane. Every movie should have a scene like that. And then there's a lot of making out.
Yeah. Thought it was weird that they did stop action stuff for the moment he hits puberty, but it's pretty cool to capture that moment.
Stop action. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Like the little
stop motion.
Stop motion.
Yeah, okay. That was the joke.
I don't know.
Cool. Look, I'm in a better mood this week than I was last week, but not by a lot. Not by a lot. I got here today, and Aaron, what was up with the parking spots? I'm not saying what happened. I'm just saying describe what was going on in the 2 parking spots that are reserved for us.
There was a big truck unloading gear for a shoot happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I pulled in, saw a woman standing out in front of it, thought about talking to her, did not. Backed out, parked on the street. I'm in the kind of mood where I have sent my girlfriend to stay at her place for a couple days until the special taping. I'm in the kind of mood that I yell things. I need to be alone. I yell things like, why the fuck would you think I would want to listen to this to the Spotify DJ when I'm in my car? I am deeply, deeply unpleasant until I have gotten on stage and right after I've gotten on stage. Like every night I've been getting up to do shows leading up to Milwaukee. I am just locked in. I'm not even mad. I'm just dialed in where I'm mad I'm not on stage in Milwaukee right now.
We're taping this Thursday evening. The special is Friday?
It is Tuesday. This is Tuesday right now.
I mean, I know that. I meant to say Tuesday.
It is 4:24 on a Tuesday. The special taping is Saturday. I leave Thursday morning for Milwaukee. And I went to the Comedy Store last night to do a show. And I get out of my car and I walk by and someone's like, you look pissed. And I go, I am. And they're like, Jesus Christ. It's it's the open mic night. I'm in the other room and someone's like, oh my God, I'm the biggest fan. And I just go, I'm in no fucking mood. And I mean it. I say things like this. And then I do the set and then I feel great. I'm happy when I'm on stage. Everything goes away. All this anger inside me leaves. And after the set, I'm fine. And I go home and I read and I chill. But I'm just trying to get to this taping. I am just excited. Doing the show in Los Angeles. Sold out show at the Wiltern Theater. Huge deal. I did not feel it. I'm still thinking about Milwaukee. Everyone came backstage afterwards. I talked to you, talked to Emma, talked to a lot of people. And then afterwards, Liz texted. She's like, yeah, everyone really loved the show. All my friends keep talking about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, it doesn't even occur to me that I had a great sold out show. I'm just like thinking about this special taping. If you have tickets to see me in Milwaukee, congratulations. It's going to be the best show you've ever seen in your life. The tickets just got released for the late show. I just heard from the people. So if you don't have tickets, you want to go, late show, some tickets have been released, and they're the good ones. They're the great tickets that are like, for me, we're not using, go ahead. But first show sold out. I cannot wait. I am chomping at the bit. Champing at the bit?
It's champing.
Champing at the bot. Chooping at the boat. I'm fired up. And I'm mad.
You seem like you're in a much better mood.
Listen, last time I was furious the whole time until we got to there was a story that made me laugh, but the kid strangling bunnies was a fun one. That cheered me up. But yeah, I've just been I feel like I'm ready to go fight, and I'm just annoyed that the fight's not here. Like, and I'm usually not like this, but I'm very prepared. I'm excited. Tonight I have a set at the Improv. Tomorrow I'm running the hour at the Comedy Store, which is already sold out. And then just get there and
the main room
and try to chill. Yeah,
that's pretty cool for the people that go to that. You get another LA show.
Yeah,
but in a more intimate setting,
comedy club. Yeah, so I'm excited for those. Yeah, I'm just locked the fuck in, and I apologize to everyone around me in my life who has to put up with me for the next couple days. And I'm hoping that when I see you next Tuesday, that I am in a great mood, that I am like, there's relief, there's a sense of accomplishment. Again, I still have a couple more weeks of heavy touring to do. But if I'm not, if I'm just this mad next week, like proud of the special taping, but still angry, I am going to the doctor to see what's wrong. Or see what's right. Maybe something's wrong with you.
I mean, something's definitely wrong with me. I said it was Thursday afternoon. It's just...
I could not feel more ready. I'll tell you what I'm a little mad about, though, Aaron.
Yeah. Tell me.
I've been trying to get guests on the podcast. I was telling Gregg we're getting a little stale, and I would like to get guests on here. And Aaron was like, okay. Billy, Al, Madrigal, they're like, hey, guys, get guests on. We're going to double the numbers. We're going to triple the numbers. I've been trying to get guests. I can't get guests on the show when the set looks like this, Aaron.
What?
I talked. I spent 3 hours on the phone with Tucker Carlson. I spent 3, and he was like, you got to step up the game over there if you want to get Tucker Carlson. And if we got Tucker Carlson on, Gregg,
yeah,
it would be so funny. It would be so funny to have him on. And he's not going to do it if it looks like this. We need to spruce up a bunch of shit.
Right. Like, people get on him about the whole, trying to end democracy and all that stuff. But do you remember the whole the bow tie bit he used to do?
He's still doing it. And it's still funny. It's still good. You got to get him on the pod, Aaron. Okay. I want Tucker Carlson on the podcast to talk comedy.
We still have never had a guest, unless you count my parents.
Which I do not.
Well, they're kind of, they talked. They were on the mic.
Your mom was a guest. Your dad was not a guest.
He was there. That's an exciting development.
What if Aaron, what would do, because Aaron has booked a podcast before. He's booked a guest on podcast.
Yep.
Where he just does it himself.
Yep.
What if we did a segment called Who the Fuck Is This? Where you book someone and we don't know who it is. And then you just put him in here, and halfway through the podcast, I just turn and I go, Aaron, who the fuck is this? And then we talk to them.
I like it.
Do you think? I think the guest would like it. I think Tucker Carlson would get here for that. I dream about it. If I could replace Gregg with Tucker Carlson, and I could replace Aaron with who's that fucking loser who's going through the worst divorce of all time right now?
Which one?
That fucking loser. I don't think he's still on Ben Shapiro's network anymore. Oh my God, he's the biggest fucking loser of all time.
Peterson?
No.
Ben Shapiro.
These people all suck. But there's a guy, oh my God. Oh my God, I can picture him. He did the change my mind shit
This is great podcasting.
with the mug, sitting at the table outside, trying to argue with college students.
I know who you're talking. Yeah, I don't know his name though.
Oh, I fucking hate that guy so much. I wish I could remember his name so I could tell a story about him. What is his name?
I'll look him up.
Look him up.
Yeah.
It is good podcasting because these little bitches, these little gossipy bitches, like to find out when I talk shit on anyone and then make videos about it and they get views. But listen, Tucker, you got to come on the pod.
Steven Crowder.
Steven Crowder.
I don't even know. I've never even heard of that guy.
You're so lucky. You see, I mean, listen, he's like for kids. He's like if Joe Rogan seems too confusing, they like Steven Crowder. And Steven Crowder tried to be a stand-up. He was a stand-up and was the worst stand-up of all time. And then was like on Fox News as the funny one. And he got fired because they were like, "You're not funny at all." And now he's going through like an insane divorce and losing all kinds of money. And it's hilarious. But I was at the Comedy Cellar when he auditioned. The owner had seen him on Fox and was like, "I'd like a conservative voice." And then I got to watch him just eat the hottest of hot dicks for 5 minutes on a Sunday. And every time I see him being like, democracy, I laugh thinking about what a fucking loser he is. We got to get him on the pod, Aaron.
Can we cut this as part of the social for
We
your
got to get Tucker, and we got to get, what's his name again?
Steven Crowder.
We got to get Steven Crowder. I want Steven Crowder's wife on the pod with the kids. Get them all on here. Get Ben Shapiro. Who's the one they just fired? The black woman.
Is it
Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Get her on the pod. Stacey Dash on the pod.
Whitlock.
Jason Whitlock. I want
That's
Whitlock.
That's the one I know.
I want Whitlock on the pod so bad. That would be amazing. Oh my God. Aaron, get Whitlock, get all these people on the pod, and then throw an axe into the room, cut the lights, and that'll be the social media clip. What'd you guys think of the show on Friday?
It was awesome to be there.
Have you seen, Liz and I were talking about this, have you seen The Hour before?
No.
You hadn't been to a Largo show? You hadn't seen like a...
I have not seen The Hour before. I went with you to the Comedy Cellar maybe 3 times early.
Comedy Store,
of course. Early when you were just doing 15 minutes at a time. So I saw bits and pieces. I saw a good chunk of your opening section and a couple of other jokes, but a lot of it, especially the last 30 minutes, were all new. It is the best hour of your career. I was very excited. It is awesome as a friend to like just see your friend maturing, and I know it's important to you, like artistically, to keep topping what you were doing before, and that's like a hard thing to do. And I thought it was all great. The way it starts, I think, is going to be unforgettable for people. And then the back half hour, kind of what you decided to do there, which that was where it was new to me, was really exciting. And then you have one joke in there that's from early in your career, and it definitely gave me a sort of this is your life moment because I'm watching you do it at the Wiltern, which is this great place. I've seen many of my favorite artists there: Lucinda Williams, Mitski, Liz Phair, and then it's Jeselnik, my buddy, on stage, and you're doing the most memorable joke to me that you were doing when we were 22, 23, 24 years old, however that was, in LA when we were starting out. Like your first joke, essentially, or one of your first jokes, your first one that really stuck with you the only one that I think that stuck with you all the way to Shakespeare. And so to hear that too, it was badass.
Yeah, it was cool. We texted after the show, like we saw each other backstage, and then was like, "Oh yeah, it's crazy that you were there when I was like bombing in the back of an Italian restaurant, and now I'm selling at the Wiltern 21, 22 years later." It was cool. Aaron, what'd you think?
I loved it. I was laughing my ass off. My wife loved it. Our friends that you were gracious enough to give tickets to loved it. I prepped my wife. I was like, there will be some jokes about children in precarious situations, let's say.
That's a good way to put it.
But I did not tell our friends who were coming, and they also have a small 3-year-old daughter like I do. But they loved it as well. So yeah, it was all thumbs up from our group.
I'm annoyed though because when you had like a handful of one-liners that when you're saying them, I'm laughing my ass off, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to tell Anthony after. Not that you need it, but it's just like, oh, this is one of my 2 or 3 favorites, or this tag really got me. And then we get like an hour after the show. It's like, well, I can't remember what they were. Yeah. Because you don't want to take out your phone and fucking write it down to remember. It's not, you don't do that. But the stories you remember more. So I am looking forward to the special too, because that's a different experience, and then I'll be able to remember what they were. Yeah,
I can't wait until the special finally drops. I'm just excited for people to see it in the reaction. And I'm thinking about the press I'm going to be doing. I'm about to start talking to my publicist. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'll be dead serious here. I don't want to do the podcast rounds. I'm disgusted with the state of comedy and podcasting. And I'm going to talk to this guy and be like, I don't want to go on the same 5 shows that everyone goes on. If I could not do any podcasts to promote this special.
Why?
Because I'm sick of it. It feels really lame. I think it's played out, and it's predictable that I just don't want to. And the things I talk about in the special, I'm not looking forward to going on and basically talking to the people that I'm shitting on to promote my special. So we'll see. But I don't love our podcast is different, but I don't love.
I mean, what if you do have friends that do podcasts and they don't need to dive into your topics from the show? You could just have have your hour hang with.
We'll see.
With Whitney.
We'll see. I think I think Jason Whitlock has already said he'd have me on. Tucker, I can get on his X show. Ben Shapiro, I'd love to go on there. I don't know. And the one thing, I wanted to talk to you about is
I might literally have an in for that.
No, that would be great.
I might literally.
Netflix has, it's a Netflix special. I've talked about it, but you guys remember the bit. Netflix is making me take out, and they said you can record it, but then we're going to put it on YouTube. They said the bit. And listen, I thought this was a great bit. If you obviously you remember the 15-minute. What if we sent Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Team and the Harlem Globetrotters and Batman into Israel?
Yeah.
To fix that.
Yeah.
It's a 15-minute bit, and it's wall-to-wall laughs.
Right.
Yep.
What if we sent Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Team? I'm talking Fred. I'm talking Velma. I'm talking Daphne. And I'm talking Shaggy, along with Scooby, and the Harlem Globetrotters, and Batman, and Robin, to Israel to fix this thing. They said it's too edgy.
Right. And I would push back on them because it feels so silly. A lot of you're clearly making a joke and it's so silly, but then you do bring it back around at the end of the 15 minutes where it's he sort of Trojan horsed some real meaning in there. And I think, frankly, a solution.
I know. I mean, it starts out silly, and then I add Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Team.
Yeah.
And then I add the Harlem Globetrotters, and then Batman's coming in.
Yep.
And Batman's bringing Robin. And Netflix said too much. So listen, I'm going to record it. I'm going to put it on YouTube. And in the middle of it, I'm going to put an ad in it.
By the way, there's not a DJ in Spotify that's, it's just like an algorithm,
He talks to me. Up next, we got something you haven't listened to. He keeps telling me, we're going to give you something you haven't listened to yet. Why would you do that? Only give me the things that I already like. God damn it, Spotify DJ. I gave him all this time off. How was your week otherwise, other than the show?
It was great. It's great. Do you think this is... do you feel different heading into this special because it's your first one sober? That's maybe... part of the mix? I don't know.
Possibly. Listen, the drinking got me through things a lot, but I feel good. I feel confident in that they're I know that I'm just going to nail both shows. I'm not nervous. I'm excited. Not even I want to get it over with. I can't wait to do the show. Not just have it over with, but I just want to be doing it. I'm psyched to be at the Pabst
Did you feel
Theater.
like that at the Wiltern, or it's different because that's not the special?
That was cool. That was sold out Wiltern. I'm excited, but LA shows on a theater tour, it's not like doing the Comedy Store or Largo. It really does feel like you're performing for coworkers. It's a lot of industry people asking for tickets. It's that's great, but it's not the I enjoy doing a show in New York or at a big theater, but a sold out Wilton show, of course, is going to be great.
There was a lot of us there, a lot of us backstage. I had to sort of talk my way into getting backstage. Last time, for listeners of the show, they might remember I got a little stoned. I had an edible or whatever, and I didn't see the wristbands that they had put inside the envelope, and I didn't know how to get backstage, so we just never went. And a champagne bottle that your manager had bought for this podcast went undrunk, I believe, by us. This time, I somehow lost one of the 2 little stickers you're supposed to put on between the moment they gave it to us and when we didn't. And so I was with Aaron and his wife and Emeka, and we were trying to go backstage, and I was like, I'm missing one, and I was just trying to talk my way into it. And
I tried to speak up for Gregg.
Yeah, Aaron tried to help me out. They didn't get, and then some lady who I assume works there just sort of like, I don't know if she just assessed the situation. She gave me one, and she got me back there. But you're right, there was a lot of people, a lot of your friends and business and everything.
Friends, people. Like I was meeting a lot of people. And again,
Aaron made a quick exit. He said, "Great show." He just left.
That's the way to go. That's how I did it at Queens of the Stone Age. Like, you don't want to be hanging out backstage.
Yeah.
You want to like say hello. I showed up. Thank you for the tickets. Great show, and get the fuck out. That's the way to go. I mean, I left. There was so many people backstage when I was like, I'm taking off and getting out of here.
Christy was great, by the way. Your opener. I mean, not Christy. Kelly Ryan. It's great. It was cool to meet her. She had people back there too. So
her whole family's there. Yeah,
it was awesome. And then I did want to give a shout out to Miss Kim. I met Miss Kim in the flesh, so that was exciting. And when she introduced herself to me, I just called her Miss Kim.
Yeah. And I don't know if she must know I call her Miss Kim. She must have been very confused as to that.
I was too, because then after I said it, I was like, oh, is that weird that I'm calling her Miss Kim? But we had a nice talk. It was good to meet her.
Yeah, she's cool. She had a great time. Everyone had a blast. No one overstayed their welcome. It was fun.
I met Emeka for the first time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She did not seem starstruck, which is a bummer.
Yeah, Emeka's a fan. Emeka enjoyed the show.
She loved it.
It's great.
She loved it. I mean, it's nice. We saw you 4 years ago or so at the Ace. It was a while ago now. And yeah, she definitely listens to the show less now, this show, than ever before. So that might indicate she's not a fan of Aaron. I don't know.
As soon as we get Tucker on the show, Emeka is going to be right there. She'll be back on board. As soon as we get Steven Crowder on the show to talk about his divorce, she's going to be on board.
Shout out to the people, or to the girls who after the show came up to take a picture with me while we were crossing the street to go back to the car. And there were a handful of those, way more than at the Ace one 4 years ago. I don't know what that says about the state of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Maybe we're just bigger, because there's many more JRVP mentions to me and just hey Gregg and a handful of pictures and stuff. But this group was exciting because it was a group of young women who came over to us and said hi to Emeka and wanted Emeka in the picture and knew her name and was like excited to meet her.
But that sounds like, you told me that, and that sounds like Emeka's worst nightmare. Like worst nightmare.
She thought it was funny. She thought it was funny because it was a group of young Asian women too. So it was, it was non-threatening, or it was nothing weird about it. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, you must be, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
She's got fans.
Nothing's more non-threatening than an Asian woman. And that's why Gregg married one.
I just meant it wasn't a bunch of weird dudes.
Look, I watch Wrath of Man every night to unwind before I go to bed. That's where I am right now. Stop making me comment on the culture. What am I, Jason Whitlock? And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes? Did we get any notes? Yeah, we did. Look, there were a lot of comments, maybe more comments on YouTube than have ever been comments on anything. Comments on the Reddit. A lot of them about how hot I was on the show last week. Like, when I say hot, I mean furious, angry. People seem to really like it that I almost had fire shoot out of my eyes and destroy Gregg for not paying attention during one of my stories. I was not in my best place that week. Most of the comments are about what I look like. Did I know that coming straight out of the salon onto the podcast and not where I have for the first time, there would be comments? Yes, I did. I could have put a hat on, and I decided not to because I liked that fresh out the salon look. Here's the thing, and you can believe me if you want to. You cannot believe me, it's fine. I'm a human being just like everyone else. I have insecurities just like everyone else. My physical appearance is not one of his insecurities. I read all of those comments. I thought they were funny. I choose to disown them. Look at me now. The mustache grows in. You get it done a week and a half out, so it kind of comes in a little more. Look at that beard.
Well, didn't they like?
Oh, it was just different. It was a long hair for once.
The hair was different.
And then it was like it was like very obvious mustache. You're like, what is this new look? A lot of Dallas Buyers Club, which made me laugh every time I read it. A lot of David Spades on the podcast this week, but I loved it. It's all fun. They were like, oh, Anthony's definitely going to mention the comments. I read them all. They're funny. I do not care. Shin is my god. Shin is coming to Milwaukee. I will not look like I looked last week on the special, but I will look great. So
wait, is she really coming to Milwaukee, or you mean her haircut?
No, she's coming.
What?
Yeah.
You're flying her out there?
Yeah. She's coming to, she's got family in Milwaukee. She's like, I'll come out and do it. So I'm flying her out, her and her daughter, putting her up. Actually, no, she's staying with her family, and then she's coming to the show to do, I don't have to worry about anything. If I had to do my own hair, fucking forget about it. I'd shave it. But yeah, Shin will be there. And that was, did we get any notes? Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? You know, I called Ben Shapiro and ran the bit by him about Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Team and the Harlem Globetrotters and Batman and Robin going to Israel and solving the conflicts. He said it was great. And now it's time to take it down to a little place that can't be solved. No matter how many of the Harlem Globetrotters go there, it's Email Corner. Email Corner. Email. Emails are a thing. Email Corner. Emails. It's Email Corner. Guys, emails are a thing.
They always have been. You should email us, by the way, our listeners, at JRVP, Junior Vice President, at gmail.com. We get so many good emails, it almost hurts my feelings to turn many of them down. But we'll save the good ones we don't use, and we'll use them in a future mailbag episode. So keep them coming. And I like the ones that are just like asking us questions or giving us advice. I feel like we don't get enough of those. The first one asks, after listening to the last podcast, it's obvious Anthony has had enough and wants out. My question for Anthony is, if you can choose, who would take your place in the unlikely event the pod continues? Same question for Gregg. Who would you choose to take the big chair?
Yeah, listen, I think about it a lot. Am I going to go through the end of this year? For sure. And I assume that once the tour is over, that I will, that I would miss this if it went away. I guarantee through 2024, unless I rage quit. If I rage quit, like I'll pay the sponsors back themselves if I have to, because it would be so fun. And there is always a possibility that Gregg's attention will wander while I am talking, and I will rage quit.
We had a sound issue, and I was texting Aaron with trying. You don't like to stop the show. We literally don't edit anything.
Doesn't matter why.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter why. The chances of me rage quitting are pretty good. I think it's a better chance of me rage quitting than me saying, like, you know what, at the end of the month, we're going to end the podcast. But it's a possibility. If I was going to leave, who would I want to replace me? Ideally.
No, I think, is that it? Oh, yeah, it would take your place. It's not replacing me. Okay.
I would love to see, and listen, I don't know if he would ever do this, but I would love to see like a Rosenthal family podcast. Like I would love to see Walker. I think Walker could fill the chair. I think Emeka could fill the chair. I think the two of them would be great. Ellis would have no interest.
Who would want to listen to this, though?
Who the fuck wants to listen to this now?
I mean, you're on it.
You and Walker. I would listen to you and Walker, for sure. But I don't know who else other than obviously Jason Whitlock, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, one of the 5 fucking losers who works for Steven Crowder. We could get any of those guys in here and pay them nothing. Just pay. Hey, we'll pay you in dresses we make you wear, you fucking losers. Who would you pick?
I have a vague memory of going to Jason Whitlock's family's ribs restaurant in Indianapolis. I believe it was one of my first Super Bowls I went to, and he was like, he just put it out there like, hey, if you're a sports writer, show up on Saturday or whatever, like free food, or I don't even know, like we're gonna have people, you know. And I think I went there with a couple writers just trying to meet people. I think we met him and Bill Simmons way back in the day.
Oh, this was like last year. Has anyone ever
This was like, was it Indianapolis? I don't even remember what city it was, but it was a long time ago.
Is Jason Whitlock the most hated man in sports journalism?
I mean, yes, but he's not in it anymore.
Is he still a sports journalist? No. So now he's
not talked. No one. He's off the radar. I mean, I haven't. Every once in a while, he'll say something. He'll try to like pick a fight with someone who's still in sports media, and then he'll get hate for like that day on Twitter. But otherwise, he's off the radar. He's blocked. No one gives a shit.
When I was still on Twitter, I would love to see Whitlock trending.
Yeah.
It was always like Jason Whitlock calls LeBron James and Uncle Tom.
Right.
It was always something so out of pocket and hilarious.
Now I don't think he gets much notice unless he goes after someone. So he's off the radar. All right. The podcast is called the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Something, bro. So I think we got to get a Jeselnik is the first option. Mikey feels like the natural solution. I don't know. Your dad would be fun, but I think Mikey, would be an interesting choice. It would just you would listen to it enough that it would make you come back. So it would be like a little bit of lure to get you back.
That would be the way to get me back. That would be the way, is to like bring in my brother, and then within 30 minutes I would be right back here. It would.
Because it's so bad that you would want to fix it, or just because you're like, they can't do this without me?
It would like tug at me. I remember what was the famous show in New York, like Mike and the Mad Dog or whatever. I watched that documentary about them, where Mike went on vacation, and they changed the theme song just to be the Mad Dog, and then he came back from vacation the next day, and was so mad about that's what I would be, that level of petty. That I would come back. If you got someone from my family, I would take their job back immediately.
That would be fun. Dave Bennett would be an option, just because he slipped past you and got to be the best man at my wedding, so that would just be like a fun plot twist. And then Brendan Schaub, I think would be a good pick.
Wow. Okay, now you're getting now this is getting clipped out. Hey, too lazy to try. You're welcome. Podcast cringe. Enjoy.
Let's ask Aaron as well.
I'm embarrassed. I'll talk about this for a sec. I'm embarrassed, and legit embarrassed. Like, I drop in like catnip, or I drop in little bits and making fun of, and legit friends of mine, some of these people. And some people I do not like, I do not respect. I try to make it clear which ones are friends I'm teasing and people I despise. And I think it's pretty harmless. One of these guys did a clip thing where they put together like 10 minutes of it with context, and I watched it, and I was embarrassed by it. I was embarrassed. Like,
you're shit talking.
Yes.
They put a clip together from our show.
Yes, a bunch of clips from our show with context. Here's what he's referencing, and I was embarrassed by it. It's always a bad look to trash someone in your own profession. I'm sure as a journalist, a sports journalist, what I'm talking about. And as a comedian, to trashing other comedians is a bad look. I know this, but a lot of times I say, fuck it, fuck these people, I'm doing it anyway. And I do that. But watching the clip, all the Patreon stuff and everything, I was legit embarrassed. Not like I'm going to apologize, but like, it's not fun when I see it all put together like that.
All right, our next one says, honestly, and that was from Steve, by the way. Thanks, Steve. The next one, honestly, I'm not the junior vice president of anything. If you killed the podcast, how would I ever explain this? And it's showing a picture here. And if you're watching on the YouTube or the Patreon, you can see it's a man in Indiana who got a vanity license plate, JRVP.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would be a little more enthused if you weren't driving a Tesla. Like, the Tesla kind of negates the JRVP. Like, if you were someone who was mad at Elon Musk and was going around keying Teslas in the parking lot, and then you saw the JRVP bumper, the license plate, I could see you sparing it. But my question to you is, how do you explain it now? When someone's like, what is that license plate? What is the difference of it used to be a podcast or now it's a podcast? It's a podcast that fucking no one listens to.
That's not true.
That I like.
It's not true. What do you mean no one listens to?
We got listeners. We got listeners.
We got a lot of listeners.
I'm curious how many Teslas there are in Indiana, because I saw almost none in New Orleans.
Almost none? You were counting Teslas in New Orleans? Look at the fucking big dog.
Yeah.
Running around New Orleans counting Teslas.
Well, because in L.A. you can't walk 2 feet without seeing one. But
Yeah.
Aaron doesn't care when Mardi Gras is. It's Mardi Gras all the time.
I love it.
When you're counting Teslas.
And by the way, this was Amy. So it was a female listener. She also points out, I already gave all my money to Anthony. I saw the club tour in Indy. Bought first row seats to Phoenix this year. Couldn't go because my dog got sick. Bought more tickets for the Cincy show last month, which was amazing. And I give thousands to the Patreon each month. JRVP forever. She might be our listener of the week.
You know what? I'll go ahead and give it to her. I was going to give it to Whitlock. But now I'm going to go, Amy, you get JRVP listener of the week.
I'll tell you right now. Now the JRVP listener of the week. Now the JRVP listener of the week. The JRVP listener of the week.
Well, we're talking random JRVPs in relatively public places here. I'm reminded of one of our listeners, Rosalina, sent me her Instagram post this week where she went to a Tommy Orange book reading. He's the author of Wandering Stars and They're There, which we talked about and we recommended a few weeks ago. And she had just read it, I believe, based on our recommendation, went to the book reading and had him sign her book, #JRVP, which I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool. I think I did. I think I did see that.
That's cool. Let's go to our next question. It's from Tevin. I have a question for Anthony. Anthony, if you somehow became commissioner of the NFL, what changes would you implement? Assume you wield utterly complete power over the league, and just thanks us for a constant source of laughs through life's ups and downs for years now. And he points out he's a airline pilot, and so if we ever need someone to fly us around on a Jeselnik private jet, let him know.
Okay.
Unless Tevin's a woman, I'm not sure.
Okay. Listen, I'm the commissioner. I can do whatever I want. Here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna be a players commissioner. Okay. I'm adding another bye week. How many bye weeks do they have now?
How did you know that? That was one of mine. That's so weird.
I didn't know that. How did I know that?
That's the first thing I wrote down. It's boring, but yes. They have one bye week now and 17
I'm adding
games.
I'm going back to 16 games.
Yeah.
And I'm adding another bye week. I'm going to give 2 bye weeks. I'm going to make the owners come down to the 50-yard line for the coin toss.
Okay.
I want the owners to be there doing it. And I'm going to make every player on every team has to bet half of their game check on themselves. Every player has to bet half their game check on themselves and then talk about whether they won or lost the money after the game every week.
Like prop bets, like over 50 yards, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, not even prop bets. Just like I'm betting on me to win.
Okay.
I'm betting on me to like do whatever it is. Like you've got to bet on yourself half your game check.
And so wait, they just lose half their salary essentially and the money just goes to the gambling companies?
Sure, if they lose.
Okay.
But I'm saying I don't like that they like have all this gambling and then they keep busting players for doing it. Like I'm gonna make the players gamble on themselves, and there's not gonna be one Pro Bowl anymore.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have 16 Pro Bowls. It's like whoever does the best that week gets to play in that week's Pro Bowl. Fans will love it. They'll love to vote, and the players will love it. They'll love to go to there.
Right. Technically, we don't even have a Pro Bowl anymore. We just have the Pro Bowl games, which is just skill challenges and whatnot in Orlando.
And when you score a touchdown, if you don't take the football and throw it into the stands as hard as you can, you get a flag.
Walker would love these changes. Adding the week, that was the same one I had. Add a bye week. Don't add a game. Maybe take one away. I like that. Give him a little more rest. But yeah, Walker loves the Pro Bowl, and so 16 Pro Bowls. He'd be all about it. I'd say eliminate the extra point. It's just stupid. We don't need an extra point.
Like make him go for 2 every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Just go for 2 every time.
I'm into that.
It's from another era where there wasn't a forward pass. It was literally called football because kicking the ball was so important, and like no one could do it that well, and it doesn't make sense. Well, why have a play that's just automatic? Just kill it.
I'm gonna make Taylor Swift watch all the games at like the red zone, like in a room, and they just cut to her after every like major play. She doesn't get to go to the stadium. I want to see her reaction, like a picture-in-picture kind of thing, for all the games.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm moving the trade deadline back. I mean, these are just boring, serious answers.
Move the trade deadline back for sure. Didn't even think of that, but that's a big one.
It's stupid. I don't like that right now, and I actually think this change will happen. Right now, they just like go back and forth of having like more home games than road games because 17 is such a stupid number of games to have. Every team has to play an international game every season, so that takes up the extra week if you keep it. But I'm with you, just get rid of it. But if you're going to have that extra week, then everyone plays one game in London or Brazil or whatever, and that sort of takes up the whole thing of, you know, home road. Pass interference is only 15 yards like college. That would be better. I don't like that. That's a spot foul. I mean, I'm getting very specific. And defensive holding is not an automatic first down. On 3rd and 23, when you have that little 5-yard penalty, I hate that.
Okay, I'm getting rid of the face mask. No, I don't mean the penalty. I mean the face mask on the helmet. You wear the helmet, you take the face mask off. I think that's going to change some things for sure. I am bringing in relegation.
Yes.
Worst team in the league gone.
Yes.
And we bring in someone from the XFL.
Okay, I think start maybe a minor league. I'm with you. That's like a more of a feeder system, and maybe it's just replaces college football. This is getting ambitious. But maybe there's like 16 of those teams. You turn Alabama just into a minor league football team. You have like 16, and yeah, maybe let's go 2 teams get relegated every year, and 2 teams move up.
And every week, whichever team loses between the 2 teams, they all have to kiss each other. They all have to kiss each other in lieu of prayer.
Everyone would love that. All right, our last question says, "Good day. I spent the last..." Oh, this is really more just a comment. I don't have the name on it. Wasn't passed along, but I did think it was nice, and I wanted to read it. And it said, "Good day, sir, and supporting cast. I spent the last 2 months dealing with an angry, bipolar spouse in a very abusive, manic, psychotic episode. I have had to be the sweetest, most understanding husband to have a chance at saving my marriage. Happy birthday, Mr. President." That was last week's episode. "Was exactly what I was prepared for and needed. I laughed. I did not cry because my emotions are stunted for now, and it made my goddamn fucking day. Give him hell, sir. No apologies. Fucking love Tommy Johns. Thank you."
Fucking, yeah. If you weren't Tommy Johns, you don't really have any problems. That's for sure. Love this email.
Fucking love Tommy Johns is what took it to the next level to me, to be like, okay, well, let's just read this thing.
Love this email. I'm glad that last week's episode helped you. I have great sympathy for having to deal with bipolar issues. There's nothing more frustrating. I think it's really tough when someone just doesn't take care of themselves. You understand it's a disease, but you still get frustrated because they could do something about it. There's nothing more frustrating. I have certainly had to do it myself with people throughout my life. I could name 5 people right now who I avoid at all costs.
Oh,
but
he's trying to save the marriage,
yes.
though, which I
good on
applaud.
You.
And
I applaud that he's doing this as well. I'm glad that we could make you laugh. That's why you pay the extra money on the Patreon. If you're just listening to this podcast and it's not life-changing, it's not getting you through the day, you're not spending enough money on it. So best of luck with the missus. I hope she gets the help she needs, and I hope you do what you need to do for yourself.
Well said. I mean, I've also dealt with similar times in my life with loved ones, and yeah, there's nothing that's more heart-wrenching, and I love hearing that JRVP. We're doing good in the world. We're making a difference, Anthony.
Mm-hmm. One day at a time. And that was Email Corner Diamonds Unite. Whitlock.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
Ad copy.
Okay, so every morning you got a choice. What am I going to put on in terms of my underwear? I make my choice with Tommy John.
Listen, we got an ad to read right now. What you need to know is that I wear this underwear, and I won't wear other underwear. I only wear Tommy John's. I know it sounds like, if you don't know about it, why is Anthony so into it? It's cool. I don't mean like it looks cool, but it does. It feels cool. It feels cool down there. It gives you the perfect amount of support. They're so comfortable, and they don't like lose their shape and get all fucking gross like other underwear. It is. I wear the best of everything. This is my underwear. I am happy and proud that they've decided to sponsor my podcast. I wore the underwear before they decided to sponsor the podcast. Buy my underwear.
What you put in your pants can make or break your day. The luxurious support of Second Skin guarantees everything will go smoothly. So Second Skin underwear has dozens of comfort innovations like a supportive contour pouch, breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. I like it. You know, you're at work. It's just much more. It's much easier when you're at the urinal. Just get that thing out. So some of these underwears, it's a pain in the ass, or you got to pull the whole thing out. No, that's not happening with Tommy John. It's easy. With over 20 million pairs sold, thousands of 5-star reviews, guys everywhere, they love their Tommy Johns. Tommy Johns have been. Why are you laughing? Because I talked about the urinal.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying the little pouch or whatnot. Some of the briefs that are sold out there, it's a whole fucking thing to like get the. You either got to pull it all down, or there's like they figured out how to just. You open it easy. It comes out at the urinal. It's easy.
Look, you be a man.
Don't be one of those weirdos that pulls their whole pants down when they're at a urinal.
You put your pants down to your knees, and then you yank up the corner of it, and you let it come through the side, and then you lift your leg to aim. What is the deal?
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're a lefty or a righty, by the way. Tommy John's horizontal quick draw fly. See, that's what I was talking about. It's in the copy. The quick draw fly, horizontal, unparalleled, unfurling access. So look, you got to make it happen. You get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. Your most valuable assets are always covered with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. Again, 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. 20% on Second Skin at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details. We're going to take a hard left turn from our underpants to our pets.
Look, I love my dog. My dog doesn't complain when I watch Wrath of Man every night. My dog lays down on the couch.
What's Wrath of Man?
Glances over at the TV, sees I'm watching Wrath of Man again, looks at me, and then curls up and lets me pet him while I watch Wrath of Man. My dog doesn't judge me for the things that I do. My dog is just happy when I'm home. I would do anything for my dog except stop watching Wrath of Man every night.
All right, now imagine this. You'll do everything for your dog, but you're at the vet's office again, and you're knowing that vet care costs continue to rise, and you're just waiting to hear how expensive that bill will be. But if you had pet insurance, your pet would be covered for accidents or illnesses, and that's why you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like Anthony, like y'all out there, to help get your pet the care they may need. The ASPCA Pet Health Care Program, insurance program, has been around for over 18 years. They've helped more than 600,000 pets during that time. They allow you to customize your plan, helping ensure that your plan for your pet is as unique as they are. Vet bills can really add up, especially when you're least expecting it. It's simple. Use their app to submit a claim, and you'll receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/JRVP. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/JRVP. aspcapetinsurance.com/JRVP. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
And that was
Ad copy.
Aaron, have you seen Wrath of Man?
No,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
It's a Jason Statham movie that when the first time I saw it, I was like, and now I like read something that was like, oh, it's actually a really good movie, and I watch it every night. It is awesome. It's like it's just like a dude movie. I don't think there's a single woman in the whole fucking film, but it's great.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's just like a badass. Everyone's a bank robber. Everyone's a gangster. I think Guy Ritchie directed it, but it's not even. There's nothing funny about it. There's not even trying to be funny. It's just hardcore, and it's streaming on one of the things right now that I watch it every. It's my comfort. It's my comfort film. Watch Wrath of Man. It came out 8 years ago.
2021.
2021. 3 years ago, but it's awesome. Am I right about Guy Ritchie?
Yes, it is Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, it's great. Wrath of Man.
I'm definitely not.
Watch it with Emeka tonight. Aaron, watch it with your wife and daughter.
Okay.
Let's get the headlines.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
The tourist town of Lopburi in Thailand has recently been overtaken by a terrifying army of monkeys. The primates have been interrupting traffic, stealing food, injuring people, and generally freaking everyone the fuck out. There's about 10,000 of them. If you're on the YouTube, you can watch the video that's been recorded. It's very long, and we can just talk about this story, Anthony, over the video.
See, I don't get it. Okay, if you got one crazy monkey running through your city, you got a problem. All right, that monkey's crazy.
Yeah.
You got an army of monkeys? That's not a problem. Look at these people in their cars. Drive over the monkeys. You can kill all these monkeys. You're trying to kill one monkey, it's going to take you all day. You're trying to kill an army of monkeys, it's just point and shoot. Point and click. Roll some poison in there. It's your fault that you got an army of monkeys taking over your city.
They're trying not to kill them. Yeah.
Why? If it's an army, if they formed an army, once they institute a draft, they gots to go.
Whereas, if you're on the Patreon, you can see the monkeys are all in this one little park, and then they all cross the street together. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah, drive over the monkeys. It's like killing one monkey, you're a psychopath. Driving over an army of monkeys, you got somewhere to be. I don't understand why they let it get to this. Where do these monkeys come from?
I don't know. They're in Thailand. They've escaped for some reason. The workers from the Natural Resources, Wildlife, and Plant Conservation Department, they placed cages at several locations across the city, and hoping to catch some of the worst monkeys. I don't know how they would know the word. Previously, hunters would shoot the monkeys with sedative bullets, but they found out it would take like 5 minutes for the animals to become sedated, and then in that time they would escape to other places and pose a danger to people because they were like being all crazy. They even swarmed over food, at some festival there in Thailand.
Yeah, I'd probably just leave at that point.
Yeah.
But if I was in my car, I would not be stopping for the monkeys. I would just drive over the monkeys. But then you got to keep driving, because once you stop, those monkeys are going to find you and get revenge for all the things you did. You could do a monkey man and fight the monkeys physically, which I'd be okay with. Aaron, how many monkeys do you think it would take to beat you up? Like if you were locked in a room with one of these monkeys, they're not that big. You could win the fight.
What do they call, like macaw? I don't know.
No, that's a bird.
No fucking idea. They're all monkeys. We're not going to get into the different kinds of monkeys
Macaque.
on this show.
I think they're macaques.
That's a JRE thing. Talking about different kinds of monkeys. Aaron, how many monkeys could you win a fight against?
Probably 10.
Okay, I like that, because that's a risk. You're saying 4. 4 is a gimme. I would enjoy fighting 2 monkeys.
They're strong as fuck. I know they don't look that big, but I think one of them could like rip your fucking eyes out.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I would only want to fight 2. I think it'd be fun to grab them and bang them together.
Yeah.
Bang them, and that's all I'd want to do.
And like all of a sudden, you just see them. You don't know what happened, but suddenly like 50 or 70 of them just like start jumping all over one thing.
Oh,
in the
they
middle
know how
of
to
the
fight.
street.
They'll take your fingers and they'll take your balls. They will grab your hand and rip off all your fingers one by one. You don't want to really fight a monkey.
I think that's more of a great ape thing.
I would like to go to this place. Maybe it's been good for tourism. Again, yeah, Lopburi. I mean, we've had a good run as humans. We got a lot of problems. Maybe just give them a shot. Give the monkeys a chance to run this town and see what happens.
You know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We will return to monkeys. You know, Planet of the Apes type thing. I've seen some of those new ones.
There's another one coming.
Yeah, I don't know. The new one doesn't look as fun to me, but the old ones were fucking awesome. Monkeys versus Woody Harrelson. Sign me up. But these monkeys, I don't know. I think this is just you could deal with this.
Wait, how was Monkey Man, by the way?
It's awesome.
I mean, you didn't really. I'm surprised you didn't talk about it more.
I don't want to spoil anything. Go see Monkey Man. It's great. I didn't realize it was supposed to be on Netflix, but it's like too much about India. Like it is a lot of like Indian politics that I was kind of like, all right, yeah, okay, I get it. I'll tell you this. I would love to see Dev Patel be the new James Bond. I think it's going to be that one dude from Kick-Ass and Bullet Train, and I think he'll be dope. I think he'll be awesome. Yeah, he's a great choice. But Dev Patel would be phenomenal as Bond. I would love to see that.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, he was great in Bullet Train. I think he'll be the new Bond if they can put up with this fucking weird ass wife. But Dev Patel would be the best choice.
I support that. I've never watched a Bond movie.
What? Really? What? Not any of them.
I mean, I'm not bragging. It sort of annoys me when people like push forward. It's like, oh, I've never seen this, and it's almost like a pride thing. But no, I've never.
Look, my parents were very into, like, when we got a VCR when I was a kid. Like it was Bond movies all the time. Get and see Bond movies. My parents were into it. I think every Bond movie except the Lazenby Bond. I've never seen. But they're always fun. I love Daniel Craig. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'll watch them all. Favorite Bond? Aaron?
I like Pierce Brosnan.
You know, I thought you were gonna say what's his face? The one that everybody says, but Pierce Brosnan. I felt like I spent my whole life waiting for Pierce Brosnan to be Bond.
Yeah.
And the day they took it away from him. If they had done that Quentin Tarantino Bond with Pierce Brosnan, that would have been the greatest Bond movie of all time.
Yeah.
Still love Pierce Brosnan. He's still getting it done. He doesn't know he's not playing Bond anymore. Timothy Dalton ruled. They're all great. Roger Moore. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I need my Bond with gadgets though, and Daniel Craig didn't have any gadgets.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because he's the best actor who's ever played Bond. And some of those movies truly ripped.
Yeah.
Some weren't so good. But Daniel Craig, great. But I like that you said Pierce Brosnan. I thought you were going to say Sean Connery, like everyone else does. Sean Connery's great. Don't get me wrong. But he's no Dev Patel.
I know. I'm just waiting for Slumdog Millionaire 2, you know? Slumdog Billionaire. Let's bring it back.
I like in Slumdog Millionaire when the guy got in the bathtub with all the money and then shot his friends. That was fun.
I rewatched that recently and was like, parts of it are great. Some of it seems a little wacky, but it was fun. It's good.
Yeah, some it's definitely a little wacky. That's a great way. It's a great way to put it.
Our second story is about a man who died last week after his friend inserted the nozzle of an electric blow dryer into his rectum and inflated it for amusement, the police said on Thursday. The authorities would recommend in the future not inserting the nozzle of a blow dryer into your friend's rectum for amusement.
Look, this guy's not your friend. We've all done that where you insert the nozzle of a blow dryer into someone's rectum. We've all done that. But you don't turn it on. You know, you don't inflate it. You know what I mean? That's like the worst thing you can do. That, like, as soon as you hit go,
yeah,
or on the blow dryer, you're not his friend anymore.
Yeah.
It should say former friend. Man dies after former friend inserts blow dryer's nozzle into his rectum. This is why you wear your Tommy Johns.
Yep.
You got to protect your neck,
right,
if you will. Because, listen, I'm going to victim blame a little bit here. That if you see your friend holding a blow dryer and it's plugged in, you protect your rectum. You don't turn your back. You are always protecting yourself if someone's got that blow dryer.
In fairness, though, like we've all been there with our friends when we stick the blow dryer into the rectums, and it's like Russian roulette. You never actually expect him to turn it on or to plug it in. It's just a game friends play.
That's why you don't plug it in. That's why there's no like battery powered hair dryers. You always got to plug it in so you know if it's safe in your rectum or not. You just don't do it. It's like it's you don't go near a bathtub with a plugged-in hair dryer. You don't go near a rectum with a plugged-in hair dryer. When it's unplugged, see how far up there you can get it. But if it's plugged in, be safe.
It's. I mean, we've got a couple stories this week.
What country is this
about
in?
friends? This was in India.
Yeah, they say in America we got a gun problem. In India, at least we don't have that going on. A blow dryer problem.
So he was visiting his friend. His friend was at work, and he works at a service center where they like wash motorcycles and cars and stuff. You know, you go to a place that like
a car wash.
That's I don't know. It was like essentially a gas station where they wash cars and motorcycles, and he went over there to basically get like a free motorcycle and motorbike wash from his buddy, and then they started playing around with this blow dryer that was meant for drying vehicles, and he initially put it on his face, and then he decided to insert it into his rectum. So I mean, they had to have planned it out. It's not like it just slips in there. Well, but it caused his abdomen to expand, which resulted in a colon rupture.
See, I don't think blow dryer is the right term here. I think he's talking compressed air, which is what they use at car washes.
Yeah.
And I took auto shop in high school. Day one was a big, do not shoot this in each other's asses.
Did the article say blow dryer, Aaron?
It does.
Was there even a day two? Did they even need a day two after that? It was like, all right, you guys are professionals now. Yeah, you didn't say this was an industrial one.
Yeah.
I mean, if his friend mooned him, and then he stuck it up there and did it, no charges.
No charges.
If he pulled his friend's pants down, put it up his butt, and did this, electric chair.
Yeah.
Like I would. When you die, you die. I'm not going to like haunt people, but if Gregg put an industrial blow dryer up my butt and that's how I died, I would want him to die in the worst way possible, which is having your best friend stick an industrial blow dryer up your butt. So again, we're in a cycle.
Right. At best,
we're in a cycle of violence.
At best, you're even. There's no way you top that.
That's Christianity in a nutshell.
Similar story in Utah last week in terms of friends ending their best friends' lives. A man in Utah was arrested for killing his best friend. Nothing going on between them ahead of time. It turned out they were trying to be funny. He said his friend pulled out his phone to record his friend after he said something funny. At that point, the friend said he pulled his gun out to be funny, not knowing it was loaded, then pointed it and pulled the trigger and shot him in the chest. And the friend said he didn't realize there was a bullet in there.
I mean, so the guy with the gun does something funny. Yeah. His friend is like, let me record this.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to top what I just did and pull out my gun.
Yeah.
Immediately shot him. Yeah. This is why I hate guns. This is why I hate guns so much, is that you would have it, people would be trying to be funny with the gun. And I didn't know it was loaded. Get the fuck out of here. Why are you carrying around an unloaded gun? I hate them. I wish they were banned. And I don't mind when someone like accidentally shoots themselves. Shooting your friend is insane.
What do you mean you don't mind? You would mind if they shoot themselves?
Because it's like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. You wanted to get into this gun thing. You shot yourself. Okay, that's your bad. But if you shoot someone else, that's clearly worse. If you're driving drunk and you crash into a tree and die, I'm not as mad as if you kill someone when you're drinking and driving.
I mean, these poor dumbasses were, they're best friends, and the police recording is pretty heartbreaking. It's just like the call, he just called and was like, I can't believe I just shot my best friend. He completely admits to everything, explains everything that happened. I gotta think, I don't know what the rules are, and he's being charged, of course. for accidental homicide or something like that. It's like, that is just as bad as any old homicide, right? Just because it's by accident, you picked up a gun and you shot your friend.
He might not get. I mean, it depends. Like, I don't know what if the family situation's going on. You know what I mean? Like, let's say this, okay? And I hate guns, but if I did this to you, okay, we're fucking around, I accidentally shoot you, then it's now my life. It's now my life is now about supporting your family. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to support your wife and kids for the rest of my life and the rest of their lives. That's my penance. If you don't have a family, I believe it's a gots to go immediately situation. I think it's I fucked up, game over, let them clean it up. I don't know how you live after that. If it's your best friend. If it's some rando. If me and you are fucking around and Aaron takes one, let's get the fuck out of here and go podcast somewhere else. But if I kill you...
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. If Greg accidentally killed me, I'd be like, you better take care of Rummy until Rummy dies of natural causes. You cannot put him down no matter what.
What about Liz? I mean, you didn't even keep her in the house this week, but I feel like we should take care of Liz too.
Liz is in the... Liz has a house. Liz has a home. I didn't kick her out. I was just like, you know what? Let me watch Wrath of Man alone. Let me watch Wrath of Man on repeat alone, which I'm sure is not a sign of anything going on with me. I just want to watch Wrath of Man on repeat every night. It's great.
Well, it's good to know I have a backup plan. Like if this NFL podcast career starts going downhill, this podcast ends, just set up a situation where you accidentally kill me, and then my family's fine.
We had a friend in college who got it. We had a couple friends in college who had guns, and Greg and I did not like it. Did not like that they had guns. And there were a couple, I remember once time, like one of them going off, and I was not there, but I heard about it going off. No one was hurt, everything was fine, but it made me so fucking mad / scared that I do not like these things.
That's literally an early episode of 90210. Where the friend shoots himself in the head.
Yes, he's doing the spinner. And shoots himself in the head.
And this guy, one of them,
and then he eventually went on and married Megan Fox.
Yeah.
He kept his gun in a hole in the floor, like the flooring. Do you remember this? Like, was not stable. And there was just like a hole sort of in the wooden floor that you would step into, but he had to, put something over it to cover it up, and like that's where the gun was. Yeah, it freaked me out living with him for 1 year. Bad scene.
Last headline.
All right, let's finish on a positive note. A Texas man has been sentenced to 3 years in prison after defrauding and marrying at least 10 women. At least is my favorite part of that. Over a 20-year period, to which I say there's no way like he expected to get away with it for that long. That's a hell of a run to stack up 10 of them at least in a row over a 20-year run. He gained their trust by claiming to be a pastor, a bishop, and a founder of several churches.
I mean, in Texas, everyone is a pastor and a pastor and a pastor and a bishop, a pastor and a bishop, and founder of several churches. That Texas accent, you're going to believe that they're a man of God for sure. Why would he not believe he could get away with it? He got 10 of them in 20 years. It's easy.
I feel like you do that once and you're like, wow, this is crazy that I'm doing this. All right, I'm going to skip to the next town and try to do it again. But maybe I'm too afraid of the law that I just would figure it would somehow catch up to me. Not only that marrying 10 people are illegal, but just like they would find me. They would find out. And he just kept going into towns. He would use the church to sort of camouflage his scams. He would get much money as he could out of these women, live with them for like 6 months or whatever, and then bolt. We do have a picture of the Houston man. And when I saw this picture, it made more sense. He looks exactly like a man who would have married 10 women over.
He looks like if Billy D. Williams had become a pastor and a bishop. The ring alone says, give me your money if you want to get into heaven. You know what? Even knowing the story now, I'm like, you know what? I'd marry him.
Yeah, he's definitely better looking than I expected.
It's so strange to hear about someone who claiming to be a man of God not being on the up and up.
Yes, he would propose to women, move in with him. They would support him. They later filed for divorce. I love that he signed a letter even to the court. Now he's like going to court and he's going to prison. He signed a letter to the court that he was a PhD, THD, and DD. But there's absolutely no evidence that he has any.
Of course.
But you would think when you're signing it to the court that you wouldn't bother. What is DD? Is that a dentist? You're a PhD and a dentist. What's a THD? I don't even know what that is.
I think it's like a theological dentist.
Yeah, maybe.
Like you work on the teeth of God. Yeah, anyone who wants to get married and be religious is using you. He's a man of God. Everything about this story, I blame the women. I blame them all. And now, can they not testify against him because they're married?
No, they can. And many of them have filed for divorce. Yeah, I guess I just figured it was social media. People would have found out and figured it out.
He's got a Facebook page where he is bishop.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. You got to do your research before you marry a bishop. And with that ring, go show me the picture again.
Oh, hang on. I deleted it, but give me one.
Oh,
Forget it. It's fine.
He deleted it.
It's fine, Aaron.
It's coming back.
And now it's time for
choo-choo.
recommendation station. Greg, what do you got this week?
We don't want to send Anthony out in a sour mood as he heads towards Milwaukee. I mean, this is it. The last few minutes before your special. I'm going to recommend a book about the New England Patriots. I don't do many sports books on this show, and this was written a long time ago. It's called Patriot Reign by Michael Holley, but I reread it. And to me, it's like a comfort read. If I'm in a little bit of a reading slump or I haven't loved a couple, just like bang through a sports book. I love this genre of book where a writer embeds themselves with the team for a year, in this case 2 years. And I feel like football fan, and I've read all of these books, and this one has gotten slept on over the years. It's called Patriot Reign by Michael Holley. He used to be a Boston Globe writer. He does radio in Boston, and surprisingly, Bill Belichick let him hang out in all the meetings with the team and go on like family trips with Bill Belichick for a couple years. And yet this book, I feel like, kind of came and went and has a lot of great inside stuff of like Belichick just shitting on his team, because the first year they don't even make the playoffs. It's their first year defending the championship, 2002, and then he ends up staying with them to make the book better in 2003. They win the Super Bowl then. But just a lot of great inside stuff of like what coaches really think. And I felt like rereading it now, just I guess to make me feel better as a Patriots fan, but also it was interesting because you can see kind of a football genius at the very beginning of when it's all going great, and he was so set out to have all these people that push back against him and argue with him and not have yes men around him, and that ends up being what got him fired and what ended him, and he kind of became all the things he didn't want to become eventually 15, 20 years later. But it's a fascinating book if you're into football. It's called Patriot Reign, Michael Holley.
But you read that book when it first...
Yeah. And I never read it since, and I just was in my head, and I thought, oh, this would be interesting to look at it now, because it's like a young Belichick. All these people who have gone on to be GMs, coaches all over the league are like young characters, and Brady is 25 years old, 24 years old, so it was a fun reread.
I do love those books. What was the one the Steelers won? Like about 3 bricks shy of a load or whatever.
Yeah. That's a great one.
A year embedded. Those are always fantastic. I'm going to recommend. We got this. We got a copy of this from Random House or Penguin House, whatever the fuck, today. But I read this a week or two ago when it came out. It's James by Percival Everett. Percival Everett, I found out for the first time a year or so ago when I read The Trees, my favorite book of a couple years ago, and I've been reading him steadily since. American Fiction, that great movie last year, was based on one of his books. This is his newest one. It tells the story of Huckleberry Finn from the perspective of the character of Jim, N-word Jim in the novel. And then in this book, he goes by James. They give him dignity. They give him agency. And it's from his point of view. And it's great. It's very funny. It is like, it kind of takes on, the way they deal with slavery and everything. Percival Everett is a hilarious writer. His books are brilliant, and this is no exception. It's not just like a retelling of Huckleberry Finn. It's the story of James. And it's a great one. And I think that anyone who reads this book will absolutely love this book. It's definitely one of the best books I've read all year. I was going to recommend it in a week or two, but now I'm happy to have a copy of it. Go pick up James by Percival Everett and read anything you can by Percival Everett. He is, I think, one of our greatest living writers. And that, Aaron, you want to recommend anything?
Well, first of all, THD is a doctorate in theology, and DD is a doctor of divinity.
Okay, well that makes more sense.
What's dentist? DDT?
DDS.
DDS.
Yeah.
What's DDT?
It's either a wrestling move or a chemical used to kill insects.
DDT.
I'm going to recommend seeing Anthony live.
Hey.
I had seen you do a short set, but I've never seen you do a long set. It was phenomenal.
I'm touched.
Go out and do it.
Thank you. Aaron, would you say that of all the people that you produce podcasts for and work for, that I'm the funniest one by a fucking mile?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. And that was...
Choo-choo.
Recommendation Station. We're going to fucking Milwaukee. Towards Milwaukee. I can't wait to get back from Milwaukee and recap it. Debbie, get me to Milwaukee.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado. That's a spicy meatball. Is that okay, Gregg?